The IRS is coming for your Social Security check unless you do this first. You worked your whole life, paid into the system, and yet the IRS is waiting to take another cut from the benefits you already earned. Most retirees never see it coming until their checks shrink and their tax bill grows. But you don't have to be one of them, not if you know the first step that keeps your money safe. And it all starts with the hidden tax formula nobody ever warned you about. Chapter 1, the IRS tax formula. Nobody warned you about. You probably think your Social Security check is safe. After all, you already paid taxes for your whole working life. Every paycheck, money came out for federal taxes, for FICA, for Medicare. You did your part, you held up your end of the deal. So now that you're retired, you expect that money to finally come back to you without strings attached. But here's the truth most retirees don't realize until it's too late. The IRS has a formula designed to pull your benefits right back into their system. It's called provisional income. And this one number, a number you've probably never even heard of, determines whether your Social Security stays in your pocket or gets snatched back through taxes. Here's how the formula works. First, the IRS takes half of your Social Security check. Then they add in every other piece of income you have, your pension, withdrawals from your retirement accounts, even small things like bank interest or dividends from investments. It doesn't matter. Where it comes from, if it shows up as income, they pile it on. And if that total crosses their set thresholds, suddenly up to 85% of your Social Security becomes taxable. Let that sink in. You already paid taxes on that money when you earned it decades ago. You paid into Social Security through payroll deductions. You paid Medicare premiums. You sacrificed for years, assuming the system would pay you back when you needed it most. And now, the IRS has built a backdoor way to tax the same money all over again, simply because your provisional income looks too high on paper. And here's the part that stings the most. Most retirees never realize this trap even exists. They're blindsided. They see their refund shrinking. They notice their monthly check coming in lower than expected. Some even think it's a clerical mistake. But it's not a mistake, it's the system working exactly as designed. The IRS is betting that you'll never learn how provisional income is calculated. They're counting on you staying in the dark, quietly handing over thousands of dollars you don't owe without ever questioning why. But you don't have to fall for it. Because once you understand how this formula works, you can flip the script. You can legally lower your provisional income. You can restructure your withdrawals, time your income smarter, and keep more of your Social Security completely tax-free. And the moment you do, you cut off one of the IRS's biggest weapons against your retirement. That's how you take back control, not by fighting the system head-on, but by learning how to play it smarter than they expected you to. But here's the kicker. Even if you manage to beat the tax formula, even if you keep your Social Security out of the IRS's hands, the government has another way of clawing back your money. And it's hiding inside your Medicare premiums. Chapter 2, the Medicare premium trap you celebrate when you hear about a cost of living raise. Finally, a little extra breathing room. But what nobody tells you is that the government already has a plan to take that raise right back. Here's how the trap works. Medicare premiums are tied directly to your income. The moment your Social Security check gets bigger, your income can push you into a higher bracket, and your Medicare Part B and Part D premiums jump. Sometimes the increase is so steep it wipes out almost the entire raise you were promised. You see a $40 boost on one side, and then $38 vanishes on the other. That's not a raise. That's a shell game. And the worst part? You don't get a warning. One year you're in the clear, the next year you're paying hundreds more in premiums, and you're left wondering why your raise feels like a cut. The system is designed to look generous, while quietly siphoning money back from your pocket. But there are ways to fight it. By controlling how much of your income counts toward Medicare's brackets, you can keep your premiums lower and protect more of your Social Security. It's a strategy the wealthy have used for years, and it works just as well for you if you know it exists. But as frustrating as that is, it's nothing compared to the next move the IRS uses. Because after taxing you once, they found a way to tax you all over again. Chapter 3, Double Taxation. The IRS's favorite trick: you spent your whole career paying into the system. Every single paycheck, money was stripped away before you even saw it: income taxes, Social Security contributions, Medicare premiums. You didn't argue, you didn't cut corners, you followed the rules. Year after year, decade after decade, you did your part. And the promise was clear. When you finally retire, when it's finally your turn, that money will come back to you. You'll get a break. You'll finally breathe. But here's the ugly truth. That promise was never the full story. Because the IRS doesn't stop at taxing you once. They come back for a second bite, and it has a name: double taxation. When you start collecting Social Security, you assume it's simply the benefits you already earned being returned to you. But the IRS sees it differently. To them, it's just another pile of taxable income. And depending on how much other income you have, they can pull up to 85% of your Social Security check into your taxable income. Now think about that for a second. You paid income tax when you first earned those dollars. You paid FICA payroll tax on every paycheck. You paid Medicare premiums year after year. You carried that weight for decades. And now, after all of that, the IRS has the nerve to look at your Social Security check and say, "This counts as brand new income. Pay up again." It's maddening. It's insulting. And it's proof that the system was designed to squeeze you dry. And here's what makes it even worse. Most retirees don't even realize this is happening until it's too late. They file their taxes and wonder why their refund is gone. They check their direct deposit and see less than they expected. Some think it's a mistake in the system, but it's not a mistake, it's the system working exactly as planned. The IRS created a formula that ensures you hand over thousands of dollars you shouldn't have to pay, and they count on you never catching on. But the outrage doesn't stop there. Because while you're getting taxed again and again on money you already earned, the wealthy are busy sidestepping the whole mess. They've got loopholes, special accounts, and strategic moves that let them avoid this double taxation almost entirely. They know the rules of the game, and they bend them to their advantage. You, on the other hand, are left carrying the burden. And that's the next trap, the one that doesn't just take your money, but exposes just how deeply the system is rigged against working Americans. Chapter 4, The Rigged Game. Why the wealthy get a pass. You pay Social Security taxes on every dollar you earn. If you make $40,000, $60,000, or even $100,000 a year, every paycheck has that deduction. You don't get a choice. You don't get an escape. You're carrying the system on your back. But here's the rigged part. Social Security taxes stop at a cap. In 2025, that cap is $176,200. Once someone earns more than that, every dollar above it is completely free of Social Security tax. So if you're a teacher, a nurse, or a truck driver, you pay the full freight all year long. But if you're a hedge fund manager pulling in millions, you stop paying in February, and everything after that is untouched. Think about how upside down that is. The people who can afford it least are squeezed the hardest, while the people with the most resources get a free pass. It's called the tax cap, but what it really is legalized inequality. And here's the punch in the gut: politicians know it. They've known it for years. And instead of fixing it, they keep protecting the same loophole that drains the system and punishes working Americans. Meanwhile, you're left wondering if Social Security will even be there for you long term, while the wealthiest contributors skate by untouched. That's not a flaw in the system, that's the system working exactly as designed. But here's the twist. For once, a new law has actually been passed that can put real money back in your pocket if you know how to take advantage of it. Chapter 5, The Law That Changes Everything. For once, the tide has shifted in your favor. Quietly, without fanfare, a new law was signed that could completely change the way your retirement is taxed. It's called the Senior Tax Relief and Expansion Act, and most retirees have no idea it even exists. Why? Because Washington didn't shout about it. They didn't roll out a big campaign. They tucked it into the system, quietly, hoping only a few people would notice. And that's exactly why you need to pay attention, because this is the kind of law that could put thousands of dollars back in your pocket. Here's what's inside. First, a $6,000 extra deduction for anyone over 65. That's money carved right off the top of your taxable income. Second, nearly 90% of Social Security recipients no longer owe federal income tax on their benefits. Let that sink in. For decades, seniors have been double taxed, forced to hand over a piece of the very benefits they already earned. Now, for the overwhelming majority of Americans, your check is finally protected. On top of that, the law cut federal income taxes on things like overtime, tips, and even certain forms of loan interest. For everyday people, that adds up to real savings you can feel. But here's the part nobody tells you. Just because the law exists doesn't mean you automatically benefit. If you keep handling your money the same old way, pulling from high-tax accounts, cashing out savings without a plan, or stacking too much income in the wrong year, the IRS can still drag you over the threshold. And once you cross it, you could lose every penny of relief this law was designed to give you. Think of it like this. Imagine a brand new door has been opened, leading to a safer, more secure retirement. The law unlocked that door. But it's up to you to walk through it. If you don't, the IRS is still waiting on the other side, ready to grab a piece of your check. That's why strategy matters more than ever. It's not just what you earned, it's how you report it, how you structure it, and how you plan it. This law is powerful. It really is a game changer. But it only works if you use it the right way. And sadly, most retirees won't. They'll keep withdrawing from the same old accounts, paying taxes the same old way, and assuming the system is fair. Meanwhile, the IRS will quietly keep winning. But not if you know better. Because when you understand how to align your income with the rules, you can protect your Social Security check and keep far more of what you earned. And while that new law is a breakthrough, don't get too comfortable, because even when you win with deductions, even when your Social Security looks protected on paper, there's still one more trick in play. A trick that makes your raise look bigger than it feels, and it's called the COLA illusion. Chapter 6, the COLA illusion. Every year, the government makes a big announcement. They tell you your Social Security check is going up. They call it the cost of living adjustment, or COLA. It sounds like a gift, a little cushion to help you keep pace with rising prices. You see the headlines, retirees to get a 2.7% increase, and for a moment you feel hopeful. Finally, a raise. Finally, some relief. But here's the reality that raise is nothing more than smoke and mirrors, because by the time that extra money hits your account, it's already gone. Why? Because the system is designed to claw it back before you ever see the benefit. The first way is Medicare premiums. As your check inches up, your Part B and Part D premiums creep higher right alongside it. In some cases, the premium increase actually devours the entire raise. You are told you are getting more, but when you check your deposit, it's the same or worse, it's smaller. That's not an adjustment, that's a sleight of hand. The second way is inflation itself. Think about your last trip to the grocery store. Prices aren't climbing slowly, they're sprinting. Milk, bread, eggs, prescriptions, utilities, gas, all of it costs more. So while the government pats itself on the back for giving you a 2.7% bump, your real-world costs are climbing 8%, 10%, sometimes even higher. The math doesn't add up, and you're the one left short. And here's the cruelest part. The COLA was never really about protecting you. It was about managing your expectations. It's a way for Washington to say, look, we're helping seniors, while quietly ensuring you stay stuck in survival mode. You're conditioned to be grateful for table scraps while they feast on full pensions and taxpayer-funded perks, but you don't have to accept it. Because when you understand how the COLA illusion works, you stop relying on their so-called raise and start building your own protection. You use smarter withdrawal strategies, you lean on the new tax deductions, and you control what you can. That's how you beat the illusion. And this brings us to the moment you've been waiting for. Because after uncovering all the traps, the tax formula, the premiums, the double taxation, the rigged cap, and the COLA illusion, it all comes down to one final step. The move that stops the IRS from ever touching your Social Security check. Chapter 7, do this first. Your shield against the IRS. Now you've seen the traps. You've seen how the IRS weaves its net around your Social Security check, provisional income, rising Medicare premiums, double taxation, the unfair cap, the COLA illusion. Every piece of it is designed to chip away at what you worked a lifetime to earn. But here's the truth. The IRS hopes you never figure out. You're not powerless. In fact, you hold the one move that can protect your check before they ever get their hands on it. And if you do this first, you change the game entirely. So what is it? It's understanding how to control your income on paper before the IRS does it for you. Because at the end of the day, everything comes back to thresholds. Cross the wrong line, and you're taxed. Step into the wrong bracket, and your Medicare premiums jump. Fall into the wrong category, and suddenly the COLA illusion eats away your entire raise. That's why your shield is simple but powerful. Lower your provisional income. Restructure your withdrawals. Move money into accounts the IRS can't count against you. Use the new $6,000. Senior deduction to your advantage. Keep yourself below the brackets that trigger higher premiums. This isn't about loopholes or tricks. It's about learning the rules and playing them smarter than the system expected you to. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The wealthy already do this. They use tax-free income streams. They time their withdrawals. They know exactly how to stay invisible to the IRS formulas. And now, you can too. When you take this step first, before you file, before you withdraw, before you make another move, you cut off the IRS's reach. Your Social Security stays where it belongs in your hands, not theirs. You built this country. You paid into the system. You carried your share every step of the way. Now it's your turn to keep what's yours. Don't let the IRS take another bite of your retirement. Do this first and stay one step ahead always.